GI map gives very specific categories. It focuses first on pathogens. This DL means below detectable, less than detectable levels. So this is actually good. They don't see any, you know, pathogens on your report. I usually just scroll through and just kind of get a first impression first. Um, H. pylori, anytime I see it, we know it's there. It has to go from the stomach where it lives all the way through your digestive system. So it has to survive the small intestine, the large intestine, and make it out into the stool. So if it's doing that, then we know it's in the stomach. How much of it is driving symptoms? It is probably, though, reducing stomach acid. So I know we've attacked this before. I know we've tried to knock this down. It is really good that you do not have any virulence factors. So it's happy H. pylori, not really nasty H. pylori. Um, but this is still something that um, we may need to think about and at least think about adding in some probiotics that have um, that work against this. Um, but anyway, it's how much of it is impacting your symptoms right now. We'd have to have that conversation. Um, So commensal and keystone bacteria, we like to see these all in the green. Um, and we like to see them in the green pretty much down here also, which means that you have enough keystone bacteria to do the jobs that they are supposed to do. So a lot of times what happens is when we do not have enough keystone species, all the jobs that the microbiome are supposed to be doing, you just don't have enough um, doing those jobs. Um, and we can go through into the nitty gritty and, what each of these are doing and what you need to increase specific ones. But I like to do more of a community focus than singling out, raise this one, lower that one. The body knows what it's doing and why they're in the levels that they are right now. Um, but this basically is saying that whatever levels you have are insufficient. That's the biggest takeaway from this box here is that it's just you have a case of insufficiency dysbiosis where you just don't have enough workers to get the jobs done. So opportunistic and overgrowth microbes, because they're not like this is E to the fifth power and it won't flag it till it's up here into this reference range. It means it's detecting these and they're higher, but they're not at levels that are going to be having a huge effect on what's going on. Um, these, disulfo and methano, are the ones that drive SIBO-like symptoms. Um, and obviously, if you're having symptomology around that, then these are things that we're going to have to look at, right? And these can possibly they're opportunistic and they overgrow when there aren't enough of those commensals that we saw back in this section. Because these are low, it's giving room for these to grow. Um, these are ones that are overgrowing that can cause inflammation and autoimmune type issues. You do not have an overgrowth or detectable levels of fungi or yeast, which is good, or viruses, which is good, or parasites, which don't always show up on a stool test, but if they did, we definitely would have to address them. Um, so when I look at the insufficiency and some of the opportunistic things that are going on, and we look at your intestinal health, Steatocrit is how well your body is digesting fat, and that's at a really good level. You don't want to see a lot of fat in the stool, and in your sample, we don't. So based on how much fat you are eating, this is this is a good sign. What is not so great is this oh, it's doing everything. This elastase marker, which let me just make this bigger. There we go. This elastase marker, which is down here low. And it's right on the borderline between caution and obviously red, which is not good. And this would be a reason to increase digestive enzymes and making sure. And we may want to switch off of, we may just want to add additional enzymes instead of increasing the bile support along with it. Beta glucuronidase is in the yellow. That is, the beta glucuronidase is a marker of detoxification. Sorry, it's not showing in the red, but it is in the yellow. It usually goes along with dysbiosis patterns. So it could just be here because you have some of those opportunistic things going on. The one that I'm really concerned about is your secretory IgA. This means your immune system is flagging things. And is kind of angry and not happy. So having high secretory immunoglobulin A just means that, it's an inflammation marker. It's showing that your immune system is being activated. And we really want to get that calmed down. You would feel a lot better if that comes back down. One of the things that you could do for that. I mean, the other markers, anti-gliadin IgA is normal, so this doesn't scream, this doesn't say that you're highly reactive to gluten. This is low to normal, so that's good. Calprotectin is right here on borderline, so whatever we have been doing has probably kept that at bay. But yeah, my biggest takeaway when I look at this, and this is just if you have any genes and resistance to any of the medications that a doctor would prescribe for H. pylori, but you don't have any virulence factors anyway, so that's just if we were going to prescribe something. So the biggest thing that I am seeing here is that you have some lower levels of some very keystone species that have some pretty big jobs that they do. Not enough good commensal keystone bacteria. So you're working with a skeleton crew. That space has allowed some of these opportunistic bacteria to overgrow, and that your enzyme output is suffering because of it, and your immune system is a bit reactive because of it. I really need to have a conversation and have some feedback on what your day-to-day digestive symptoms are right now. You don't have any crazy infections, gut things going on, but the high that's mucosal immune activation and low digestive capacity and low phyla are the three main things that I would take away from this GI map. The three main symptoms that you had reported initially go hand in hand with what I'm seeing on this GI map. So the lowest elastase is going to mean that that partially digested food is going to be more substrate for those gas producing um, microbes. Um, you have the methano and the disulfo um, methane and gas and histamine producers, so that makes sense. That high sig definitely, says my gut's reacting to something, which can amplify that sensitivity and that bloating feeling. Um, those two also go hand in hand with having wildly changing bowel movements. Um, and let's see, the um, high sig A can spill into skin and inflammation. Um, and stress can be a huge component in that and how much that is affecting things. Um, so yeah, I think there are definitely some things that we can do, but I want to have a conversation about what your symptoms are right now, um, and what's been working and not working before I jump in and say, try this or try that. Does that make sense? All right. Any questions, please message me in the portal, um, and we'll go from there.